Setting boundaries, man. Setting boundaries. In every relationship in our life, friendships, romantic, family, there comes a time when some boundaries need to be set. Now, that boundary conversation is usually not very comfortable. Well, at least for me, those conversations aren't comfortable. What are we talking about first? Setting boundaries. Well, people are going to treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. Right? In bad or good or whatever. If somebody is doing something that's rubbing you some type of way, it can be romantic, it can be at work, and it's ruining your inner peace. Well, nobody can make you feel some type of way, but actions can kind of fuck with your chi, for lack of a better term, and fuck with your flow a little bit. And at those times, if you're finding that it's just not going away naturally, then you got to put some energy towards it and fix it. And those conversations aren't comfortable. Now, it might surprise a lot of people, but I am not confrontational. Now, why? I mean, people might not believe that, but truly, it probably stems from being a child, have my mom and dad fought a lot, and that tension really, the yelling, even when people yell now, I have a problem with it, right? I don't like those uncomfortable conversations that are quasi-confrontational. So, what does that look like when I have those conversations then? Well, I have a character flaw that I'm aware of, that it's a constant process for me to be aware of, and it's because I don't really like confrontation, so when I have to have it, I lean towards aggression, right? And I don't necessarily mean physically, it has in the past, but I mean even how I communicate can come across overly aggressive when it doesn't need to be. And that's really, if I have to be honest about it, it's a crutch, it's a coping mechanism for me to be able to deal with it or feel like I have some control in the situation, right? Maybe that's that little kid in me that, I'm constantly working on, is I feel like I have to overdo my anger, and it's not a conscious thing. It's not like I come in thinking about, well, I gotta be, it's when I communicate, my hurt or my discomfort in the situation manifests itself as anger and aggression. And communicating like that is not often very beneficial, right? It's always better to be a little more calm and clear, professional, definitely if you're in a professional setting, but even in a romantic setting, it's advisable to be calm, cool, and collected, right? I mean, that's not to say that there's not times you got to show a little heart, show a little ass, that you're not a fucking robot, right? That you fucking give a shit, man. Sometimes passion manifests itself as just that. It's not necessarily aggression, but passion can come across as aggressive. Like when I talk into the camera, people go, "Why are you yelling?" I'm not fucking yelling, man. I'm passionate. I'm stoked, right? I'm not mad now. I'm passionate, but if I'm talking like this to somebody about in an uncomfortable conversation, setting some kind of a boundary, it can come across as aggressive, right? So it's something I have got to be aware of. That is something I have to constantly work on and be present about and be aware of. So, and that's that self-awareness piece. Right? Setting boundaries, though, is fucking absolutely required for any type of fucking respect, man. You've got to set boundaries with people in your life, right? I was talking to a client today, and they were having an issue at a Muay Thai gym. A fucking guy was, one of the bosses was kind of, they were trying to go into business, but he was using his power a little bit and writing the checks and kind of just being disrespectful. And he's like, well, I said, man, well, first off, at some point, if it's turning to disrespect, you've got to address it. Now, the key there is you got to be willing to walk away. You can't come into you got no leverage in a situation like that if you're not ready to walk away, like any business deal, right? The truth is, he who cares the least has the most power, right? He who's ready to walk away has got the most power. That's the truth. Because you have actually some leverage, or at least you have an option. If you go in there and you're not ready to walk away, well then, you're fucking stuck. So what are you even going to talk about if he tells you to fuck off? Well, now you really got a fork in the road, right? Because now it's direct disrespect. Set those boundaries. Don't let them slip too long. If you're feeling something, set that boundary. It's important for your own self-respect. If you allow a boundary to be pushed and pushed and pushed, it's chipping away, and that's in your head and you're aware of it, and you're not saying anything, well, guess what? You're chipping away at your own fucking self-respect, and your self-talk's gonna start spiraling. It's all negative. Best to be cool, calm, communicate clearly, and the response you get back from a conversation or communication like that will give you the answers you need. Right? If somebody doesn't respect the boundary you're setting, now you have the ability to make a clear choice of what you're going to do. Setting those boundaries. Important in every relationship. Massively so. So don't let things slide to the point where it's affecting your mental clarity, your inner peace, your day-to-day process. Like I said, nobody can make you feel any type of way, but actions that are right in your face, that are affecting you directly, that's a different story. So, be clear though. It's a fine line, right? There's something, you don't gotta fucking set boundaries with everybody about everything. That's that self-awareness piece. That's that fucking intelligence piece of being aware of your environment, your surroundings, your emotional intelligence. It's all connected. That's why we develop all these things together and we talk about them. That's why we talk about them deliberately and clearly, so we can start developing those skill sets, because it's exactly that. Setting boundaries, communicating clearly is a fucking skill set. So, apply it well. Be smart. Out here.